All right, we're recording.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of Guess That Story, based on the cover.
On Bag and Boarded.
Bag and Boarded. I'm going to do this every time, just so you know.
It's fine.
All right. I'm your host, Mike, and this is my co-host, the beautiful Tabitha. Any fun, fantastic stories you want to tell today?
No, I'm just curious to see what you have ready for me to react to. So if this is your first time watching this channel, I'm going to look at a cover that Michael's going to show me, and I'm going to react to that cover. And based on my reaction, I'm going to see how close can I get to the actual storyline of the comic just based on the cover art. As you all know, cover arts vary from artist to artist, and sometimes it's very direct what the story is about, and sometimes it's a little bit abstract. So I'm going to see, what can I see?
Let's see how well you do in our rough game of hot or cold.
Okay.
Okay, so today is JLA 42 from 2000. For the viewers at home.
Okay.
This is just before the Tower of Babel arc.
All right. So I think, from what I remember, JLA, that's an acronym.
Yes, it is.
Is it Justice League something?
Yes.
Justice League Agency or Justice League Association or Justice League...
Think more patriotic.
Justice League America?
Justice League of America.
Of America, okay.
It used to be called that, but when they relaunched it in the late 90s, they just went with JLA.
Okay. So this is a little surprising because before I get into the actual cover, that we're doing DC Comics, because I feel like we've been on a Marvel one.
We have been on Marvel.
Okay. I mean, like, not just on this channel, but just your collection is mostly Marvel, right?
When it comes to single issues, which is what I'm trying to focus on with this channel, it is mainly Marvel. I do have a decent Marvel trade collection, but most of my DC is in this, because DC for a very long time was just what I wanted to read, was easier just to grab it as a trade.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get back to the cover. All right.
Here you go. She'll have the cover up on the screen.
Okay.
I cannot wait because no.
All right. So clearly this is either it's a giant, or somehow the Justice League has been in an episode of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I'm going to give you...
Or Ant-Man. Like whoever that scientist was. No, because Ant-Man is Marvel.
Ant-Man's Marvel.
Okay.
He's kind of a knockoff,
okay.
though,
all right. So I think someone definitely decreased their size to miniature Justice League of America. And so I'm really curious. So I'm imagining the hand that they're in is the nemesis who shrunk them?
No.
No.
Also, a good little thing, the tagline for this month is the world's mightiest heroes.
Okay.
It's a bad pun. It's a bad pun.
All right, so I think that the Justice League of America, they were attacked with a shrinking machine, classic comic lore, comic, storyline. Someone's either getting blown up, like too big, or someone's getting to be a little bitty miniature version of a superhero. So I think they got shrunk. They got miniaturized.
They did get shrunk.
And they're about to get squashed.
You're close. You're right with they got shrunk.
Okay.
But they're not about to get squashed.
Okay.
For context, because I'm sure she's going to have the cover on the screen. We've been rolling with that. As you can see, can you recognize any of these heroes that are on here?
Okay. Superman, of course. Green Lantern. And... Oh, I know I've seen this person with I can't remember what they are, though.
This is the Atom. His name is Dr. Ray Palmer.
Okay.
His superpower is he shrinks.
He shrinks himself.
Yes.
Right?
He can shrink others.
Okay.
I cannot remember if Ant-Man or Atom came first. DC and Marvel have a really fun habit over the decades of ripping each other off. Just point blank.
Okay.
Like Aquaman's technically a ripoff. He's not the first underwater king in comics. Marvel has him beat with that, was Thor. But like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four is a second generation knockoff, because DC also has Plastic Man and they have the Elongated Man.
DC does?
Yes.
Okay. I think I've heard of the Plastic Man, but
Yeah.
not the Elongated Man.
The Elongated Man's pretty much like I don't know if I classify him as a B tier or a C tier, but he's kind of like a private detective. Him and his wife Sue are like one of the most beloved couples in comics.
Okay. Right. So what else is in this? So we agree that of course I got the one part right to where they did get small size.
They did get.
Okay. And so okay, what about the person who's
that is
the
actually
hand, the giant hand?
It is just there for perspective, kind of.
Okay.
It doesn't really happen in the comic. If I'm going to guess, the hand belongs to a surgeon.
Okay. So this is another example of a suggestion by grandizing the actual storyline, but they didn't really get squat. It just showed how small they were.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I think a big part of the reason the cover looks the way it does is, like I said, this is just before what's considered one of the best Justice League comics of all time, The Tower of Babel. But it's also in the midst of by Mark Waid. It's also in the midst of another famous Justice League writer, Grant Morrison. This is what's called a fill-in issue. It was kind of like a gap because they weren't ready for the big story. It's written by, excuse me, because I actually have to look at the credits, Dan Curtis Johnson. The penciler is Mark Pajaro. I butchered that and I apologize. And ink is Warden Walk. This was kind of just thrown together because it probably wasn't ready. It's also my favorite comic of this run.
Wait a minute, is this issue 42?
This is issue 42.
I love the number 42.
Yes. Ironically, this is probably my favorite comic from this run, which will probably get some gruff because there's a lot of really good comics from this run, but it's also very sad. It's not... This week, we're discussing a sad story.
Okay.
So,
any other story?
So it opens up with a kid in surgery.
Oh no.
Did
the kid die?
No.
Okay. Or not die? Unalive? Is it unalive now on YouTube?
I don't care. I'm not working for monetization, so I don't care. The kid is under surgery. There's something wrong with his body. His body is turned against him. Because DC is different from Marvel, they do call in superheroes at times. Like Ray Palmer, the Atom, is a doctor. He shrinks down. He shrinks that small.
No, is he like a healthcare doctor or
physicist?
A doctor, okay. Physicist.
But he can shrink himself that small that he goes into the body to see what is wrong with the kid.
Okay.
And what he finds is another species living in him that do not realize they're in a human being. They just... It would be like in Men in Black, where you realize the galaxy is a marble.
Okay.
And they are entering their industrial revolution. So they are starting to really carve up the body. It's obviously making the kid very sick. And when Superman, Green Lantern, Atom, The Flash, and Wonder Woman go in there to try and negotiate some peace, be like, this is what you are. One, they don't believe them because they're like, you're trying to tell us we're living on a human being. Like, essentially, they're being told that they're living on a god.
This reminds me of the Futurama episode of Bender, where he had that world on his...
I would not be shocked.
Right? And but they were actually living on him, and they thought they were living on a planet.
This is the species.
Okay.
For the people at home, like, and they try to negotiate. The Justice League is going to try and find a way to relocate them to another place.
Okay.
They don't want to. One, they don't believe them. They think they're invaders. They think that everything...
Well, I mean, because their whole society...
Their entire society
has been there, right? It's like, my grandparents are here. Yes. My people always been here. This is our land. This is our place. So we're not...
Yeah.
And it was passed on from generation to generation. So that's the whole history.
And they warn them that if they don't, the surgeons are going to forcefully remove them. Because they are killing this child.
So does the storyline go into how this child was infected? Like how this all started?
I'm trying to remember. That part of the details moving me is escaping me at the moment.
Okay.
Like a big aspect of this, why it's sad, but it's also kind of hopeful, is I don't know if you know the theory that basically most of the human body is in a state of symbiosis, right? Like there's a lot of us that is not actually human, but we require them to survive, like in that scale level. A lot of like different things like mitochondria really are part of us. If I remember right, in the right part of the cell. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Like
yes.
how we just evolved to form a functioning human
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of where we're at. And unfortunately, this species, in the end, they try to capture the Justice League. They try to fight them, and the Justice League can't convince enough of them to leave. So the surgeons.
Well, it must be like millions of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So the surgeons have no choice but to remove it from the kid so the kid can live.
Right. So they do it through medication or they
laser.
actually
They laser it out. And one of the things is that because it weighs so heavy on them and time is so different in scale down there, that Superman stays the entire time to not only take heed of what they've just had to have done, but the fact that he's basically watching another species be wiped out, something very similar.
Yes.
But the comic does end on a really nice piece of hope where you see very similar to what happened with Superman. There is a family that decides that these people were telling the truth, that they transport their own child, and it ends up in another part of the kid and is found by another type of like thing that is living in this kid, because like with us, it's very similar.
We have many types of bacteria that we coexist with.
And the cool thing about DC is that because they have like characters that just go to a subatomic particle, like it almost anamorphosizes them, so they kind of get that idea. So this kid ends up in another part of the body with being raised and found and discovered by two other beings that are more than likely going to raise them up similar how Superman was. So it's really sad because you do see the consequences of like not being able to convince people to help them.
Yeah.
But it has its hope. And one of the key things at the end is that it takes like 60 seconds for this entire to wipe out. And all the other Justice League members leave. And Superman stays. And they're like, what was he doing? He was just like, he was watching and trying to help. And they're like, how long was he there equivalently? And they're like 6 months.
In their time.
In their time.
In their timeline.
Like I said, this cover is so deceptive. I read this when I was 15. Like, it was... I read it in a Fred Meyers of all places. Because Fred Meyers used to sell comic books.
Was one of the spin?
No, sadly, they just used to have a wall. They would just have like a giant wall.
Okay.
Like how they did magazines, and it would just be full of comic books.
Oh, wow. And this was one of them.
Yeah.
That you read.
Yeah.
Well, I really like that. I really like this story. One, because it's believable to me.
Yeah.
That you could possibly have this, bacterial civilization that all they know is that, and for someone else to come from the outside, for them to believe that, hey, actually you're causing harm, and not to believe it, and to.
Can you imagine if somebody showed up and be like, look, you're just a part of a larger organism. It's sick. We need to move you.
Right. What you think of as planet Earth
would not agree.
Really isn't planet Earth. It's
it's planet host, white blood cell.
Yeah, you're surviving on a host of something else. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? We have all this history.
This is the fatty tissue of something else.
We went to the moon. Like, what was that? And that was another piece of the body that we traveled to. So yeah. I mean,
like I said, you never get that from that.
Okay, cover. My next question is the child that was rescued. Are there any other storylines from that child's life? Like what happened?
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
But
So
I
no,
would have.
so no superbug didn't become a superbug.
Not that I know of. I would not
I think it became
be
a superbug.
against the idea that it's probably out there. I would have to look it up. There's people who have categorized this. Like I said, I'm much more of a DC person in that regards.
Okay.
Like the old saying is that DC is a concept of gods and monsters
Mm-hmm.
and man, whereas Marvel's like the world outside your door.
Oh, okay.
It's why sometimes when you have competitions against them, you're like, this doesn't really scale well because DC characters are inherently, a lot of the time, just that much more powerful.
Okay. All right.
But you have a better chance of becoming a Marvel superhero. Or villain. More than likely a villain.
The odds are in your favor.
They are always in your favor.
Okay. I liked it.
Yep, I would recommend it to anybody. It's a great, great story.
Okay.
All right. This is a quick one, so have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.